was what I found was so helpful about it, was that like you broke it down and you said you're either like going to start with A, B, or C. And that was what I needed. I needed a place to start. And now that I've outsourced one thing, I'm like, okay, I need to outsource this and this and this and this and this, because it's so helpful, you know? And I was making my own schedule. And I always said to myself, I'm only going to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's been my thing. And then occasional weekends for weddings. But I was like, no, I'll just take on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because like, it's okay. I'll just make it work. And then I was missing out on so much time with boys and so much time with Joel. And like, I wasn't living a life. I had no life. I literally had zero life. So this literally allowed me to like get my life back again and have someone else make my schedule who is not going to make those like personal decisions. It's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that's when I work, which has been like amazing.
I have a special, exciting binge week in store for you this week. And firstly, I just want to make sure you can kind of self-identify on whether all the episodes that are coming out this week are for you. So if you are a photographer that feels like you are overworked and underpaid, aka not making as much money as you want, or you feel like there's not enough time or hours in a day to get everything you want done, you feel exhausted, you feel like you're lacking energy, your life feels chaotic, you feel like you have no personal life at times even. When you're working, you feel guilty that you're not spending time with loved ones. And when you're spending time with loved ones, you feel guilty that you're not working. You may also be experiencing body aches from sitting at your computer too much, or like even a short fuse with loved ones because you're just constantly feeling like stressed and overwhelmed. I wanted to say overworked and overwhelmed at the same time, so that's what came up. And you feel like you're constantly playing catch up. And then when you even think about getting support in your business in some way through outsourcing, whether you've tried it or not, you feel this feeling inside of you that everything should come from you. You are the artist, or like no one can do it as well as you can. So you don't even continue down the path of even trying to outsource. Or maybe you're like, outsourcing is expensive. I can't afford it. There's no way I can afford to outsource. Or I think it's expensive. I don't even know where to start. So, if any of these resonated with you, even one or two, or I'm assuming maybe even a lot of them resonated with you, then this week is literally for you. I'm just going to call it binge week just for fun because it makes me think of like a really good series on Netflix. So, what I realized is when I was going back through all the podcast episodes that I've recorded over the past 4 years, I've recorded 28 episodes on the topic of outsourcing. Holy crap, that's a lot. And there's so much juiciness in all of them. And the idea that I had and what I want to do is I'm going to actually take all the ones that were like the most popular, the most loved, the most valued, and I'm going to release them one day at a time for the rest of this week so that you can enjoy them and binge them and feel hopeful for your future that this isn't the way that it has to be. Like, it doesn't have to feel like you're constantly on the struggle bus or surviving. Like, success as a photographer can totally feel like even like slow abundant living. It could totally feel that way. And I'm definitely here to help show you that the new paradigm for success for us as photographers is to have an abundance of time while also making an abundance of money at the same time. It's not just I have all these bookings and I'm making all that money. That's not what success has to be. We can also add time to the equation and having a lot more energy and vitality. That could be our new success that we're striving for, and it's totally possible and doable. And so a lot of these episodes, they're pulled from like random years because the most popular ones are kind of just all over the place. It depends on which year I release them, but I just want you to keep in mind that they're pulled from outside of me launching my Outsourcing Made Easy course. They're pulled from in the middle of a launch. So if you're listening to an episode and randomly I'm talking about signing up for OMI today, or today is the last day, or I don't talk about signing up for OMI. Just know it's a past episode. And for context, this year in 2024, the doors to Outsourcing Made Easy, my program where I give you the step by step roadmap to cutting back 70% of your working time behind your computer so that you can shoot more, make more money, and work less overall. The doors are opening first week of October in 2024. So keep your eyes out, keep your ears out for that. And if you want to make it super easy for yourself so you don't miss the window, short window of time that the doors will be open, because they only open for a short window of time once a year. And every year I have people messaging me being like, what? You launched it a month ago. I totally missed it. I wish I saw. So, like, make sure to get on the priority list so you can be the first to know. And when you are on the priority list, you will get access to special perks that no one in the public has. So this is like, these are like my VIPs that are like, ooh, I'm interested, tell me more. And if you are on the priority list, I'm going to treat you extra special, extra good. I'm going to give you those special perks, but there's no pressure to like obviously sign up or anything like that. It's just a way for you to gather more information, for you to make the best decision for yourself. And at the end of the day, I just want you to make the best decision for yourself. So do that. Click the link in the show notes, get on that priority list. And also, while I have you here, before we dive into this episode, I also have a really exciting workshop that I've put together for you. If you have been feeling all the things that I just mentioned, right? And this is really exciting. It's brand new, it's fresh. I've never done it before. I feel so drawn and called to offer it. And it's so affordable. It's under $50 and it's a workshop style workshop where you're actually going to put pen to paper and get stuff done and get answers and get clarity. So it's called the Reclaim Your Time and Energy Workshop, and it's going to be happening on September 18th, which is a Wednesday. So just around the corner. It's going to be about 2 hours long. And in there, you're going to get clarity on where you're wasting your precious time and energy in your photography business. And that you're also going to discover your dream hourly rate that you need to know about so you know where you're going and you know what you're striving towards, and you know how many bookings you need and how much money you want to make and how many hours you want to be spending in order to make that hourly rate. Like, if you don't know your hourly rate, it's kind of like you're flying blind. It's kind of like an airplane takes off, but then it doesn't have like a target, like a city to fly to. So this dream hourly rate is kind of like your pin on the map of like, oh, that's where I'm flying to. Okay, now I can make aligned decisions to get to that dream hourly rate while I'm also saving my time and my energy along the way. So, oh my gosh, as I'm looking out the window, there's a plane flying by. So, this is going to be such a fun workshop. You're going to get so many answers. I'm going to have worksheets for you. You're going to ask me questions live if you need to. I'm going to be coaching people live. You're going to connect with other photographers in the community so you feel less alone. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for you to join this workshop. So, go to the link in my show notes, sign up for it. It's under $50, super affordable. And when you sign up for it, I think what's even more fun is if we just grow the community experience even more. So invite two of your photographer friends, your two closest photographer friends that you would love to go through these exercises with, that you would love to then leave the workshop and support each other continuously with the answers that you received, like, because you are who you surround yourself with. And that way you can create this beautiful little accountability situation for each other. And so that would be such a beautiful way for you to experience the workshop. And I would be so honored to teach you these incredible, like mind-blowing moments of how you can build your business in a way where you're saving your time, you're saving your energy, and you're working towards that dream hourly rate that is just going to make you feel so fulfilled, because you're going to be making really amazing money for the craft that you love doing, which is photography. So click the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you in the workshop, and I hope you enjoy this binge week of episodes. And yeah, Grateful for you. Hello, and welcome back to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Monica, and today is a very special episode because I'm actually featuring one of my students for my Outsourcing Made Easy program. And the title says it all. Oh my gosh, you're going to learn so much from this episode of what's possible for you. I mean, she's a mom of two, and she was able, in only 10 months, she was able to figure out how to work less hard, right? Something that I teach so passionately is that we actually don't have to grind and hustle so hard in order to make really good money and feel fulfilled in our business. So she was able to work less hard, make more money at the same time, and have more time freedom with her family, which is like the number one thing. Like that is something I'm so passionate about sharing with photographers, is how you are able to actually expand your life and what's possible within your life. It's so possible for you to be a photographer, do what you're passionate about, run your own business while also having the time available for family and friends and yourself. And Rachel shares so openly and vulnerably about how she was able to make that happen in a much easier and smaller step than you may actually think. Sometimes it's actually those smaller decisions that add up over time that create these incremental big changes. And so, yeah, I cannot wait for you to tune into this episode. It's a goodie. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play the episode for you. All right, Rachel, welcome to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. I am so freaking excited to connect with you and hear your story and everything. How are you doing today? Baby free for the moment.
Yes, baby free. Thank goodness, for as long as I possibly need. It is the best. Love my kids, but also nice and time to have some time away.
Yeah, and you have two kids, right? And how old are they?
So I have two boys. I have Kane and Callahan. Kane is 2 and Callahan is, oh my gosh, 10 months. Okay, your second is way different. You forget. I remember when I was pregnant with Cal, people were like, oh, how far along are you? I'm like, with Kane, I was like, I am 8 months, 4 days, 3 hours, and 36 seconds. Like, it's just so different.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I can't relate yet, but I saw a TikTok video that Rory sent me of like a couple being like, for their first kid, like, oh my God, babe, he rolled. And then the second kid, she's like, babe, he rolled. He's like, oh, cool.
Cool. Yeah, cool. That's literally actually accurate. I can totally attest to that. That is how it goes.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's just so different. Like, it's just way more exciting the first time around with everything. But I feel like too with Cal, like right now he's trying to walk, and I'm like, Joel and I are like, it's okay, he'll just do it when he's ready. But with Kane, we were like, come on.
This is what you work for.
Yes, exactly. You will be the first one to walk. Like, it's just totally different mindset, but it's just equally so much fun and just different and exciting and just
a different experience. Yeah,
exactly.
We had friends stay over. I don't know if anyone listened to my podcast episodes, episode 111, where I talk about like the most chaotic 3 weeks of my freaking life, where we had construction at the same time. Then we had friends stay over at our place with an 18-month-old and a newborn, like literally 2 days old, like for 2.5 weeks. And I just watched her. I'm like, first of all, Ben was 3 months then, and I was like still getting to know that rhythm of being a new parent. And she just like has an 18-month-old. She's like 3 days after giving birth, like handling him, breastfeeding the little one. And then like the little one is just like napping all over the house in different places, not waking up. She's not phased. She's like, she knows that the newborn's not going to wake up. She's just like living her life. God. It's like, when you have a newborn, you're like, shh. Oh my gosh, no one knows. We don't want it to wake up. Like, but she's just like, oh, I already am an expert at that, right? So now her new thing is like how to navigate being a mom to 2 kids at the same time. It's like a whole freaking growth spurt for, oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Completely. It was the same with us, like with Kane putting him to sleep. We would like rock him and hold him, like really, I'm sure maybe you've gone through this where you like slowly drop them and then you just pick up. You're like,
don't move.
How do I roll you perfectly? And we'd walk into the room, we'd be like, yes. Yeah. But now we're like, here's a bottle, here's a passing, good night. Like, it's time for bed. We're gonna go to sleep.
It's so funny.
Yeah. It's so cool that you got to see that though, and like good for her. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's incredible. I could for the a week after I gave birth, it was so hard for me to walk. I couldn't move. I had to shuffle across the floor in my socks. So I don't know how she did that, but everyone's experience is so different. But I was like, wow.
You had a home birth, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Oh,
Which was,
that's what I wanted. I just love. It's so beautiful. Like, did you love it?
I loved it, except for the 3 times where I was like, okay, what am I trying to prove? Why am I not doing it with a girl? But like those moments lasted probably like 3 contractions or 2 contractions. I'm like, okay, no, I'm good. I can do this. I'm good. Yeah. And it's like the most like powerful, like mind, like mindset, like training, really.
Yeah. It's like fight or flight. Like you just have to like push through and know that at the end of the day, you're going to have this adorable little human to cuddle. Yeah. And your body like goes into like survival mode. It's insane. And
that's the thing that was so trippy and mind-blowing was like, I have to do this. I can't back out. Like if you're like climbing a hard mountain, you're like, oh, I can turn around if I want to. It's like, no, you have to do this. Yes. There's no way around it.
You just like take their head and shove it back. It's when I'm ready. No, it's now. Like it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's the coolest thing ever. It's so cool.
So clearly we could definitely talk about many more things other than...
I know, sorry. Yeah. I will talk for hours.
I know, I love this. All right, so for everybody listening, let everybody know like what kind of photographer are you? What do you love to photograph? And maybe like 1 or 2 random facts about you, since we already know you have 2 boys.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my second fact. I only have to do 1. Yeah. Okay. I am Rachel Bowman. I'm a photographer, obviously. My business is called Rachel Bowman Photography, and I shoot families and lifestyle. I did like all of the whole jam, like weddings and couples, and then I slowly started to niche down and really, really discover and dive deep into like what I actually love to do, and that kind of came down on families. And I think that too, it kind of like changed as my life changed, like as I was going through different milestones in my life, my style, like not my style, but my like what I wanted to niche down on kind of grew with me, which was really cool. Yeah, I shoot lifestyle. And fun fact about me, I have 2 boys, we already said that, but I used to be a dancer. My entire life, I was a dancer, and that I worked on cruise ships. I did So I Think You Can Dance. I did the whole
dance. My mind. No.
I didn't like make it very far, but I was in the top 200, which was super cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I've been a dancer my whole life. So, which is actually funny because when I do boudoir sessions, I'm like, hey, you're just going to go like this and like move this way. And they're like, what the hell did your body just do that? I'm like, right. Okay. Let me narrow this down first.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool. Wait, were you featured on the show? Like, was your audition as like one of the...
So there's like a little snippet of me doing like a jump in the air, and then I'm like, because I made it. Yeah. But that's like literally it. That's like my fun fact.
Oh my gosh. I always used to watch that show and be like, oh, I wish, like I used to take dance classes, but not like to the high level. And I love dancing so much. Yeah. And that's like one of my like things. I'm like, I swear to God, I'm going to have a midlife crisis soon. And I'm going to just start dancing hardcore because I just love it too much. Honestly, and I'm like, I'm missing out.
It's the best thing. And it's like totally a way your body and your mind just goes to like a different space.
It's meditative.
It's the best thing. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. Well, thanks for sharing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I would love to start the convo. I think if you could just like paint us a picture of what life looked like for you before outsourcing.
Oh, here you go. Are you ready? Yeah. No, I've been doing photography for 4 years, and I was getting so busy. When I first started, I was working as a nanny, and then I just was like, this is it. I need to do this full time. This is what I want to do. I've been like a huge supporter my whole life of like, I'm going to be my own boss. Like I don't work well too great with other people. Like I'm very like in my own way. And I really knew that I needed to be my own boss. So I went the photography route, and I ended up getting super, super busy. And it got to the point that I had Kate and I was managing. It was okay. I could do it. And then I started to get busier and busier. And then I had Cal. And then Cal came, and I was kind of like, holy shit, I can't do this. Like, I literally cannot do it. And I knew that I wanted to outsource, which was mostly what I wanted to gain from your course, was the outsourcing. I knew I needed to outsource. I just didn't know where to start. And I was like doing everything on my own. So I did like my booking on my own. I was doing all my scheduling and my inquiries, and then I was shooting, and then I was editing. And I was like, I am not this person. Like, I want to shoot and I want to edit and I want to pass the rest off to somebody else because it's not my strong suit. And I definitely am not the most organized person in the world. So for me, I found that I knew I needed to pass it off to someone, but I just didn't know where to start. So you provided me with the breakdown of where I needed to start. Like, what do I feel like I need to get rid of first, or pass down, not get rid of, because it's still always yours. But and that was what I found was so helpful about it, was that like you broke it down and you said you're either like going to start with A, B, or C, and that was what I needed. I needed a place to start. And now that I've outsourced one thing, I'm like, okay, I need to outsource this and this and this and this because it's so helpful, you know. And I was making my own schedule. And I always said to myself, I'm only going to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's been my thing. And then occasional weekends for weddings. But I was like, no, I'll just take on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because like, it's okay. I'll just make it work. And then I was missing out on so much time with boys and so much time with Joel. And like, I wasn't living a life. I had no life. I literally had zero life. So this literally allowed me to like get my life back again and have someone else make my schedule who is not going to make those like personal decisions. It's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's when I work, which has been like amazing because I can't say no to anyone. I would just take on all the clients.
Wow. That is so beautiful what you just said. You just pretty much outsourced saying no because you know that it's not your strength, because we get too emotionally tied. I totally know what that feels like. If like someone inquires, like, I've been following you for years. I love your work. Like, we always dreamt of you as our photographer. I'm like, oh my God, I also want to do it, right? Because we love what we do, but there's so a certain amount of capacity that we do have, right? Like you mentioned with like your ideal weekly schedule to have that harmony in your life. So that is so smart. I love that you said that you outsource saying no. You have someone managing that for you.
Totally. Yeah.
And, so,
and it's really cool too. When you outsource, you can always like, even though I'm saying no, if there's an exception, like if someone, like you said, who I want to work with, I can be like to Channing, you know what, I actually really want to work this, like let's schedule it for this date or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I've now taken on 12 weddings in a year, so one every month. That's been like my cutoff for just while the kids are little. And I had a girl reach out to me. It was like literally my dream wedding. And I thought, gosh, okay, I could work 2 in September. I could do it. Yeah. So it's like, cool, you can say no, but like also you can always change your mind as long as you're not overexerting yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing. And what did it look like? Can you go in a little bit deeper in painting the picture of how you felt when you were missing out on time with your boys or other family members or, friends or time with yourself too?
Yeah. Yeah. I literally had lost like all sense of me. And that's still something that I think we all will always be working on. But I think it was really overwhelming for me because I just entered the motherhood journey. And then my business was growing so quickly. And I was missing out on all the cottage weekends. And I was missing out on like adventures with the boys. And during the day, like I would before I had Callahan, I'd have Kane. And I would try and edit with Kane. I'd put a show on. And I'm like, this is so not fair for him. Like I'm sticking him in front of the TV right now so that I can edit and do my inquiries and do all this stuff, where I knew that if I hired someone on, I would have the time to spend with my kids during the day, which was the most important for me. I was like, it's not fair that I'm trying to keep you busy and occupied so that I can edit. And then I wasn't getting as much done. Like now if I look forward, I can sit down in a night when the kids go to bed and get like so much more done than I could have when I was trying to with the boys while they're like watching TV or doing this, or Cal's like running at my feet. Because you're not actually focused on what you're doing.
No, you're context switching.
No, it's like, literally, you're not getting enough done. Whereas I knew that when I outsourced, I would have that extra block of time. But I literally was missing out on everything. And it sucked. And I had no time for myself. And it was just terrible. I wasn't in like a good place in my business or my personal life or my relationships or my motherhood. Like, all of it was just terrible. And I knew that when I took that time aside, like I'd come back, even if it's a half hour, even if it's an hour, you come back like the better mother, wife, everything, business owner, you're everything, because you just have a clear mind.
Yeah. And would you say that even, how like there's those tasks that are like, well, it only took me 5 minutes, right?
like
20.
those tasks, even though they might take you 5 minutes, you're like, I don't need to outsource. It'll take me 5 minutes. It's the running long ass to-do list that puts that weight on our shoulders. And it's like that stress, right? And then when you feel stressed, you don't want to work, you procrastinate, then everything piles on. So did you feel like that's kind of what you feel relieved of? Is that like long to-do list that never ends?
Because now I do a little document and I do the list for my VA, Channing, like amazing. I put the list together and I'm like, and then it's just done.
Oh.
And then we check in at the end of the week and make sure everything's done. And then on the Sunday, I make a new list. It's literally, I said to Joel, actually literally like 2 days ago, I was like, this is the best thing I ever did, because I feel like now I'm getting so much more done. And I'm not stressed about checking off those things, because I was making like dump lists and I was like, okay, I got to do this and this and this and this and this, and trying to map it out. It's like, this is impossible. I literally cannot do this on my own.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
What do you think was holding you back from beginning to outsource in your business before Omi?
Oh my gosh. It easily, like, hands down, I thought I was going to lose money. Because, you know, you're hiring this person on, you're working, and when you're a business owner, it all goes to you until you decide to outsource, obviously. And I was like, oh, but if I hire someone on and I'm paying them hourly, like, I'm losing that. I'm losing that money. That's now gone. But like, I did it. I'm making actually more money now because I have more time to take on more clients, because I'm not doing all the extra stuff. And I'm also gaining like time with my kids, which is in itself not even worth the amount of money you could be making at the end of the day, where I'm like actually able to enjoy it because I'm less stressed with them. It's like, I'd say for sure 100% my biggest fear was like that I would be missing out on money, which I'm realizing now it's nothing in compared to like when I look at the block of time that Channing sent me at the end of the week with like how many hours she worked and what she did. I'm like, I never could have done that. Like what you just did would have taken me like double that. So it's crazy. You see how much time you're actually saving in your life just by hiring. Just it's such a simple thing. It's literally so simple.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's so much I want to unpack here. So number one, oh my gosh, so many things. Okay. When did you have that perspective shift? Because I experienced the exact same thing you did. It's like, well, why am I going to let go of money when it's my money? Like I earned it, right? When
I was like burning it.
Yeah. When did you shift it from it being you losing money to it being an investment in your business that would actually gain you more time and more money? When did that click for you?
When did it click? When I had like a mental breakdown. I was like literally on the brink of burnout. I just thought like I just couldn't, I didn't want to work anymore because I wasn't enjoying it. You know, I had reached a point where it wasn't enjoyable for me anymore because I was too stressed out. Just wasn't fun. And I literally love what I do. I love photography so much. And I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And I was like, this isn't right, because I know how much I love this. Mm-hmm. And I need to like figure out how I can address that. And that was like, oh my gosh, what month? When was that? Really at the end of
at the end of the season is usually I think that photographers have that. And I was just total like, breakdown, health issues, like everything just comes up to the surface, right?
And it's kind of, you feel like this isn't worth it. Like this stress and all these feelings I'm feeling, it isn't worth it. And that's how I was like, hey, I know I want to keep doing photography. Obviously, I love it.
Yeah.
But I need to make some changes. And like talking to you was literally easy. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I need to do.
That's awesome. And so it's been pretty much almost a year. So Omi came out last fall, October 2021. I'm like, what year is it? And it's right now we're recording this.
Yeah. Monday. So
yeah, we're recording this and it's August 2022. So it's been like, let's say 10-ish months. Right. And so you mentioned that you are actually able to make more money and work less. Mm-hmm. So has that transformation happened already? Like within like 10 months, you can already see that?
100%.
That's incredible.
And like, it's so cool because like, I do put a limit on my work because of my family. I don't want to work like crazy, but I can look forward and see that like knowing in 3 years when my kids are in school, I can work every day. You know what I mean? Like I can do that. And I don't know, it's just the difference it's already made has just been mind-blowing, and it's been such a short period of time. Like, really, that's 10 months. That's nothing. And it's already made such a huge difference. And not only money-wise, but the service my clients are getting. Like, it would take me, I was actually losing clients because it was taking me so long to get back to inquiries.
Yeah.
You know, like I literally couldn't do it. I literally was like incapable of doing everything. And so I'm not only like gaining the financial aspect, but I'm also hitting their like quality of service has upskilled like crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
because you have so much more energy to give.
yeah. And like, I'm not the only one doing it. Like, my VA gets back to people in less than 48 hours. Like, whereas me, I was like 3 days, and then they message me and they'd be like, hey, sorry, we had chat with someone else because we didn't hear from you. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that sucks. You know, like, you don't want to be losing clients, and like, then it's all this business is word of mouth. So that would just be really sick.
Yeah. And so if like you had heard the statement before taking OMI, if you had heard the statement, it's possible for you to work less and make more money, would you have believed that?
No, I'd be like, that doesn't really make any sense, but
yeah. And do you believe it now? Do you live it now?
100%. I literally like preach hardcore about outsourcing because it's been life changing. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I could not do what I'm doing now without the help of my assistant. There's no way.
Yeah. And so I love to say that OMI helps you gain more like time freedom, mind freedom, creative freedom, and financial freedom, because literally outsourcing is the foundation that trickles into every area of your life because it gives you that. So like, what freedom would you say is your favorite? Time freedom, mind freedom, creative? Time? Yeah.
I love time. And I've also realized that like through your course that it's not only like the big things that you need to outsource that has given me that time. Like, I could outsource hiring a cleaning lady, you know?
Yeah.
That is giving me that time. I can outsource, like I did all my inquiries. Like, my time has been so nice to get back because I am totally that person that needs to be with myself. Like, I need that time for me. And I didn't have that. I was like, mom.
Don't we all?
Work. Yeah. And I think you forget, it's easy to like get into this rhythm of like, this is just what it is. I'm going to keep going. And it's like, that's not, you don't have to feel like that.
Yes. A lot of the times you can become unconscious to it and create you're just like going through the motions every day. And that turns into a year turns to 5 years, 5 years turns to 10. And you're like, what happened? And that's what it's so important to be conscious of what's happening and how you're feeling so you could break that cycle sooner and not miss out on life. Totally. So I would love to know, like, what are all the things, like, could you just like everything that you outsource, like what comes to mind? Like, just give us a list of things that you
like the best thing that I've outsourced.
No, just like everything that you outsource currently. Yeah. Currently.
So I've only outsourced, I've only done one portion of my business, which is my inquiries, my emailing, all the back and forth, which back and forth between clients can be like a nightmare. Email. That for me was like amazing. All my emails are gone. My scheduling. She does a lot of like my side stuff. So like right now I'm in the process of creating thank you cards. So at the end of the year, I'm getting like little cartoon drawings of all my clients and then sending that off as like a gift for them. So like we're in the process of that. So it's just like these little things that I wasn't able to do before that I really wanted to offer that I can now do.
That's amazing.
Like, literally, that's pretty much about it. And just that little tiny bit, which isn't even a lot, has been
that boggles my mind right now because you just scratched the surface.
Yeah, wow. I know. It's not even that much. That's what I mean. It's like insane.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And for you to have just scratched the surface of implementing what you learned in OMI, you already like feel like you're working less, making more. That's already happening 10 months later. Yeah. And like, that's just amazing. So I cannot wait to see what happens in the handful of next years as like you grow and make other decisions. And oh my gosh, that's incredible. And actually I'm curious because I think a lot of photographers are scared that if they start to outsource, let go those parts of their business, because they really do believe their business is their baby, right? It's like their baby, right? But you don't want it to be a baby, right? You want it to grow into an adult, right? So I think a lot of photographers are scared that they'll stop feeling connected to either their work, their craft, or their clients if they start going that route. So how do you feel? Like, do you still feel connected to your work and your clients?
Yeah. So I was nervous about that 100%. I'm like, I want total control. Like, I know that I do everything the way I want it to be done. So how can I trust someone else to do that just as well as I do, or hopefully better than I do? And I think at first that thought of like letting go of the control was really scary. And I think that's when I really looked at like the 3 things that you said we could outsource, right?
Yeah.
Top 3 that were there. I looked at what I would feel the most comfortable with. I'm not comfortable yet, and I'll admit it, I'm not comfortable letting go of my editing because I'm like, this is my style. How can someone else do and see things that I'm going to see, you know, which I think is my next step 100%. And I know that. My virtual assistant have been like, what else can you give me? I'm just like, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think it is scary, but I think picking something to outsource that you feel comfortable with and you can kind of let go slowly and just kind of push it away really, really slowly and know that someone else is taking care of it, is you won't regret it. Like, it's just, you won't.
I love that. And thank you for like, honestly, I'm just so impressed with you that you're not like beating yourself up for like, but I haven't outsourced editing yet or culling or this or that. You're just like, no, like I've taken the steps and so far I have these results that I'm very happy with. And I'm going to listen to myself when I'm going to be taking the next steps. And there's a fine line between, like you actually, it being time for you and fear holding you back. There's a fine line. And that's why I have like those coaching calls or whatever, because, you know, a lot of our limiting beliefs can hold us back. Just like I, for the longest time, was terrified to hire a copywriter, but I was like, so many emails to write. Like, I just want a podcast and that's it. Like, I just want them to take my words, put it into an email. I don't want to do that. Right. And I was like, no, nobody can do it as well as I can. So any new level you get to outsourcing, you're going to have that fear and you're going to have to move through it. Right. But the amazing thing is that now you have moved through the fear of those tasks that you've let go already. And you're like, well, I did it. So next time, whenever you're going to go to another thing, you'll know that you can do it. Right. And
maybe like, I'll start it. And it's too possible that like I could start outsourcing my editing and be like, it's not for me. And then I'll just try something different. Like there's no harm in trying it. If it doesn't work for you, move on, try something different. Right. Like maybe that just wasn't the right place for you to start. And like, I know in your course, one thing that you said that has really stuck with me was, I literally did your course also in like a week because I was like, I need to do this now. I watched it and I was like rocking Cal. I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
That's amazing.
So long.
Wow.
Like you have this forever. You don't need to like do it all right now. I'm like, no, I need it now.
You're like, I felt the pain of the low, like a low point, and I never want to go back. That's probably what it was, right?
It's like this needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the one thing that you said that really stuck with me that I'm like, I always try to remind myself was that you mentioned like not outsourcing right away things that you're not already doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, which was huge for me, right? So I had this huge list of things that I wanted for my business. I made a list and it was all things that I knew I wanted to do in the future and things that needed to be done now. And you said, don't give off things to your outsourcing person or your VA that you're not already doing, because then you're not giving yourself that more time. You're literally still going to be doing the same things. And now you're going to have more to focus on, right?
Yeah, because you're going to have to quality check that work. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that for me has been huge because I've given away so far the things that I was already doing, which has given me that free time. And now I feel like I'm ready to integrate like things that I want for the future of my business, like creating like a email subscription, like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Having like a subscriber list, and I want to start doing that. And I feel like I'm like ready to, now that I've mastered with Channing what we need to do for the inquiries and the emails, now I'm ready to like flip a few things out of that resume.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's so true because I had that same experience. I wasn't blogging and I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing all these things in my business. I don't have time to blog. And then I'm like, oh, I'll hire a VA to blog for me. But then I realized I never really I was even more stressed because there was another thing to do on my to-do list, which was quality check the work. But if you let go of a task, like for example, like let go of a lot of editing, like let's say a wedding is 12 hours for you to edit. And it takes you an hour to prep the wedding and then in half an hour, 20 minutes to review and make small fixes. That saves you all that extra time. And then you can start planning on like, oh, what do I want to do new in my business? What do I want to implement? So you have to first like let go to let in, right? So yeah,
Totally.
I love that you
Totally.
shared that and that stuck with you.
So I'm not going like off. So just like
No. I love hearing every single part of it. And especially when like, because you know how sometimes you have those like eureka moments, we hear something from someone and you're like, that stuck with me. I'm like, oh, I always love hearing what sticks with people.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know that you're actually like, and that's cool that those are your words sticking in somebody else's head. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
And so I'm also curious because, okay, I'm trying to think of like which direction I want it to go to. Like, what was your very first moment, like very first thing you let go of? Like the one thing that you started with?
Inquiries, because I was losing clients. Because I was losing those clients, I thought, gosh, I can't lose clients because at the end of the day, clients is money. I'm supporting my family, obviously not my own, but I would like to be able to contribute, and this is my way of contributing. And if I'm losing those clients, it's like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is the word?
The ripple, the domino effect.
Yes.
Domino and ripple both apply.
I got it. It's all just like it all intertwines together. So I just thought like this is what I needed to start with, hands down inquiries, making sure I was getting back to people in like a respectable amount of time and not taking like a week to message.
Yeah. And so when you were letting go of that like first thing, did you feel confident? Like, oh yeah, I can do this? Or were you like, okay, I'm scared, I'm going to do it anyway?
No, I was like, hands down, done. So I use HoneyBook, which has been like a life-saving for my business. And I have it all set up in like, I have all the automation set up. So I had already made all the templates. So basically what I did before I hired Channing on is I created all these templates and I had everything written out. So I knew that it was still me they were talking to in a way. And it was still the way that I would do it, but it was like literally the easiest thing to do. And she was also one of my good friends. So I really trusted her judgment. I knew she would make good business calls for me. And I knew she had like my best kind of like, she wanted what was best. I just that. So it made it easier for sure. But I don't know that I would have had that experience with someone that I did. I think I would have been definitely more nervous, but because I knew her, I was like, I know she has my best interest. So I'm good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else that you're like, that's like on your heart and mind that you want to share that has been like very transformational for you in the last like 10 months? I can't believe it's only been 10 months. Like, oh, have you, before you share, have you heard of the book, The Slight Edge?
No.
It's about the compound effect. So it basically shares how you don't necessarily need to take big actions every day for you to see results. It's like the small incremental daily actions, the 1% that like come together and over time give you this big result. So imagine like, for example, for you letting go that like that part that you mentioned, right? That was just like skimming the surface of what you learned at OMI. You let go of that. And imagine ever since that first day you let go of that, every single day on top of that, you got so much more time back with your kids, created so many more moments. Your mental health and spiritual health and emotional health and physical health is probably exactly where you want it or getting closer to. Like we're always working on that, right? Always working on that. I'm like, I can't exactly where you want it. I'm like, Sarah, that will never be.
That's impossible.
Yeah. But it's like, imagine if you didn't take that step. It's like, where do you think you would be now? Like drowning. 10 months later without outsourcing.
Drowning.
Yeah.
Crying.
Drowning. Yeah. Drowning in your tears or in the tub?
Probably, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah. And yeah.
So
yeah.
So true.
And like also I now see having my own little one, like Ben is almost 6 months. It's like the changes happen so quickly. You never get that time back. And like you would have lost another year and now you've gained that. And it's like, I'm so proud of you also.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to thank you. I'm so proud of you that you did this so that I could be better.
But you implemented, you did the work and yeah, but yeah, thank you. This is like literally, I feel like I'm just so grateful to be able to do this work because this is so important. Yeah. This is like people's time and lives that we never get back. Like money, we can always figure out how to get back, but time.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly where I'm at right now is like, I will always be able to make money some way or another. Money will always be there, but my kids, like, have you seen those? Have you seen those reels where it's like, you only have 4 years until your kids?
Yes,
I'm
I
like,
have.
oh yeah, I can't miss out on that. You know what I mean? And it's so true. Like, I watch those and I'm just like, it's true. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't only get 4 years with your kids, but like, the way I looked at it was, because like even right now, even talking about putting Kane in like a daycare or like getting him a nanny or something, it's like, but I am so lucky. And that's another thing that like with our careers, we're so lucky that we're able to be home. Not a lot of people have that freedom where they are able to, like, they have to go to work after 18 months. I cannot even imagine what that world looks like. Like leaving my babies at 18 months, like kudos to the parents that do it, because like I couldn't.
Or 2 weeks. Some places have 2 weeks.
That's actually insane.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't. And I think that like we're looking at it right now, even with like my business and the way our careers take us, that I'm able to stay home and be with the kids until they go to school. And then after they go to school, I can work my butt off even more and like I can make that up. But right now I'm so lucky. Like, why would I want to miss out on that time with them?
Yeah.
And I think it's just really cool to like look at it from a different perspective and be like, I'm so lucky that I'm that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's incredible. So would you say that like, with OMI and the tools it gives you and how it teaches you to think for yourself and empowers you to like figure out how to implement, like you can literally copy and paste my workflow, or you can, it teaches you how to think for yourself and do your own thing, right? Would you say that then in the future years when you're like, okay, I'm ready to like focus a little bit more on my career now instead of this family chapter, like 50-50, right? Or, I mean, it's always going to be like that, but do you feel like you have the tools you need to continue to grow with knowing how to outsource different tasks, that you can always pretty much work smarter than harder? You never have to go back to working as hard as you used to?
Yes, I totally like, and now like, I don't know that I could say that maybe 10 months ago, but now seeing what I've done in the 10 months, I'm thinking, gosh, there's so much more that I could do. You know, like I feel like my creative mind is like, there's the whole world out there that I don't even know about that I need to like push through. And I just think 100%. And that's what I think I liked about your course in particular, was that like, it gave me the tools that I needed now, but also things that I could apply, like you said, in 2 years, in a year. Like I can always reference that back and be like, oh yeah, she was talking about this. I'm going to try that. You know, like it's not just, this is what you're going to do now and bye. Like you said all the time, like I'm a mentor for life. Like it's like, you can always count on you. Like how many times have I voiced to be like, hey, I need help. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you can always literally, like you can always count on you for that, just that little bit of extra push, which is really cool. I love that about your course, that it's just very personal. And I think that is what kind of drew me to it in the first place.
Oh, I love that so much. And so you say that, I'm trying to think what you remember. I'm like having a total like mom brain fart. Like you said something about, so it's good for right now for you, like what you need right now. And just like that little step, did you find that like, it's kind of like a nice bite size? It's like, you can take a bite or you can eat the whole course and you don't feel overwhelmed at any step. Cause like, I make sure to like literally show you this video is 5 minutes long. This one is 20 minutes long. So you can like schedule it in, take it at your own pace.
I totally agree. I love that. I know that I can go back, like when I'm finished with what I need to do now, I can always go back and be like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. You know, I truly did through your course, like I truly did focus on what I needed, what I knew I wanted to do now. And then I kind of just let the other stuff sit there for a little bit because I knew that was what I needed to focus on. So I love that I can like go back and be like, okay, so now what was the next step? I can either sit here and focus on what I need to do now and do that, or I could, like you said, like do the whole thing and then just, I feel like that would be too much for me. I don't care.
Yeah, but I love how you're following your intuition and what you need based on the chapter in your life that you're at. It's so
totally.
Special. Like
yes,
that's something I'm learning this year is like not to push through if there's like too much resistance. There's like different type of resistance. Like there's fear that creates resistance, and that means you kind of want to do it, but you're scared. But then there's the resistance of like, it doesn't feel right in my body. It doesn't feel like the right time. I need to spend my time elsewhere, relaxing, spending time with family. And then when I'm ready for the next level, then I'll outsource the next thing. Like I love that you're listening to yourself in this process. It's so important.
Yeah. And I think you have to, like, if you're going to make that step to outsource, trust your gut, know what you're ready for and when to step back. Because if you just go all in, I feel like it's important to focus on one thing and then move on to the next step, not like do it all at once. Because I think you would be anyone would be very overwhelmed. So knowing that you can like do it on your own time and take those steps, I think is really cool.
And that looks different for everyone. Like for me, for example, I think it was like I got a VA first and I had that experience for like, oh no, I outsourced my editing first. And then I had that experience for a year. I only was outsourcing my editing. And then a year later, I'm like, okay, I need help with tasks. And then I had that for like 6 months. And then I'm literally pulling out months and years out of my ass right now because I don't know the specifics. Because it was like fucking 7 years ago.
What was the date? Sorry. What was the date? May 21st?
Yeah. It was like 7 years ago now, but that's the approximate. I'm going with my gut here. And then after the VA, I had the VA for 5 months. I'm like, oh, actually this year I'm going to let go of culling. And then I did that. And so it was a process, right? But I mean, also it did take me longer because I actually had to figure out the workflows and everything from scratch because no one taught me. I did never see anyone teaching outsourcing.
No.
Yeah. And so I figured out from scratch. So it took me longer. But then I see some students, they like focus on hiring a VA for a month, letting go of tasks. And then, okay, 2 months later, okay, editing. Okay, 3 months later, 4 months later, culling. So in the span of 1 year, if you really want to, you can let go of culling, editing, and get a VA. Like, so it's like literally customizable. Yeah. Your timeline is totally custom to what you decide. And yeah, and I love that. 100%. And I love sharing all the different varieties of the stories for my students because there's like, everyone is so different with what they applied and how quickly and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah. Thanks for sharing your story and being like open, vulnerable. Yeah. Oh, actually, I totally I remember I asked you the question and I was like, oh, The Slight Edge, the book. I totally forgot because I was like, do you have anything else like on your mind, on your heart with the transformation that you've had so far that you feel like you wanted to share? Or do you feel like complete?
I feel like we talked about everything. Honestly, this was like the best thing I did. And if anyone is listening and they feel like they're like, not really sure, I don't know what to do, freaking do it. Like, what are you waiting for? It's an investment in your business and your time and your life and everything. Like, it's just really worth it. And I think I knew I needed to outsource, but I didn't know where to start. And you gave me that. You gave me a kind of that little like kick of like showing that you've done it and it's possible and that we can do it too. And that for me is what I needed. I needed someone to be on the same page and like feel like I could relate to you and understand that there is a bigger world out there where you can do all of these things. Like it is literally just the best thing ever. I'm gonna just blah blah blah. No. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Rachel. Like this is going to help so many people just, they're going to be able to totally relate to you, your story, your heart, where you were, where you are now. They're going to be like excited to be like, oh my God, where she is now, I can have that. So like, this is so impactful because your story is again, ripple effect into the lives of more families. Yeah. Right. Just like yours. So it's so important. So thank you. Yeah. And where can everybody find you if they want to connect with you? If you guys want to send Rachel a message, just thanking her for her energy today. Where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram, probably the most place to get me. What is my handle? My handle
to get me. That's so funny.
To get in contact with me, I'm the worst. You can find me on Instagram, probably. I actually started a website. That was one thing that I did that I didn't have before I did you.
Oh, that's amazing. So you were just running your business off of Instagram.
Oh, it was very dangerous.
Living on the edge. I love that you said that.
It was really bad. I thought, oh my God, if the Instagram world ever like crumbles, I have absolutely.
Did you feel that when there was that like Instagram blackout that one time? I think it was in the last 2 years. It like totally just like went offline.
With myself. And also I have this like really intense fear that if, how people's accounts are getting hacked right now?
No, I don't. Because I never listen to bad news because I'm like, no, I don't want to attract it. No, I don't listen to bad news. So I don't know.
Okay, well, people's Instagrams like that, friends of photographers, their accounts are getting hacked and they're having to start from scratch.
Wow.
And to me, like, I have put so much time into my Instagram account that I think that if that were to happen, I don't know what I would do. So when that started to happen, I was like, I need to have a plan B. I have to have a plan B. I need to get a website in place. So either Instagram or you can send me a message on my website. I'll try.
Yeah. So what's your Instagram handle?
I think it's just Rachel Bowman Photography.
I love that. That is so hilarious.
I'm pretty sure it's just Rachel Bowman Photography. I'm checking for you right now. I'm like almost, it is just Rachel Bowman Photography.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, I also have to, because I love that you said like now you have more time to like focus on learning how to build that email list for like your family sessions, because families are totally reoccurring bookings, right? For so many years.
100%.
So that's so smart.
I love that you can always like follow your family. I love seeing my bro. It's the coolest thing. It's so cool.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I was about to call you Deanne because of your so for you guys not knowing, she had to join through her mom's Zoom, and it's like and the name is like Deanne. And I was like, in the beginning, I'm like, hello, Deanne. Did you steal someone's identity?
I know, it's so brutal, but I got to get my computer fixed.
Yeah.
But I have time to do that.
Yeah.
And money.
Mic drop.
Seriously.
Best way to end the episode.
Oh, there you go. That's it. That's done.
Thanks so much, Rachel.
Thank you so much.
All right. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode with Rachel. And I think that her story can really show you that even just dipping your toe in outsourcing can help you make massive shifts in your life and business. You know, of all the freedoms like time freedom, lifestyle freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom, mind freedom, and the list goes on. Oh my gosh, freedom is like my number one value. And I literally have it tattooed on me. It's just like my favorite thing. And I'm so passionate about sharing how people can make that possible for themselves, right? In their lives. And I don't know why sometimes I say in their lives, but it's in their lives. So maybe I just need a drink of water. But okay, back to Rachel's story. So, I mean, she's already working less hard and making more money for herself in the first 10 months after implementing what she learned in Outsourcing Made Easy. And again, she only scratched the surface. And the most important thing is that she has time back with her family. And one thing that I really appreciated too is that she didn't use the excuse of being a busy mom to move forward with something that she knew in her freaking core that would be life-changing, and not only for her business, but for herself and her family too. And I think my biggest takeaway from talking with Rachel is that you don't need a ton of outsourcing within your business to start seeing a positive ripple effect in your life. Like you can just start with letting go of the smaller things, which over time, thanks to the compound effect that I talked about, can create big results. So for you, the message that I want for you is don't be afraid to try things. Like imagine if she continued to fool herself and say that she could do all of the tasks herself in her business while also balancing family life. Like she would have missed out on another full year of more quality time with her family. And not only that, but she would have missed out on so much more time freedom and earning a higher income because she was able to stay more in her zone of genius, which like for all of us photographers is shooting. So if you've tried outsourcing, but it didn't go so well before, and hello, I've been there, done that. I've been through the back and forth, the trial and error. And that's why now I have it figured out. And I'm pretty much giving the step-by-step system to my students so they don't have to, fail along the way as much as I did. Get your butt into Outsourcing Made Easy this year. And for those that don't know, doors open only once a year, and they open again for the next round of students this October 2022. And they only open once a year. So I am so excited to help you turn your life and business around by showing you the step-by-step workflows that I personally have in place. So do not give up on yourself or on your life or on your loved ones. And here is another thing I hope you take away from this episode. If you have a dream of working less hard and making more money at the same time,
Lean into it. There's a reason you have that pull. There's a reason you have that dream within you. That means you really want it. And even if you're a busy parent and you're juggling other responsibilities, even if you have a 9-to-5 job while starting your photography business, I promise you that life can look dramatically different for you a few years from now if you just take the leap and try something different. Because what got you here to where you are won't get you there. That's something that my mentor has always talked about, James Wedmore. I just love how he says that. He's like, what got you here in your business got you here to a point. And it's amazing, but it won't get you there. It won't get you to that next level, that next step, that next dream. And the beauty of it is you don't have to do it alone. You'll have the support of me and your fellow OMI peers that are on the same journey as you are. So to get on the wait list so that you don't miss the short window of time when I'll be accepting new students, go to sarahmonica.com/waitlist. And the link is in the show notes too, but it's super easy for you to type in, and it's sarahmonica.com/waitlist. Sarah, no H, and Monica with a K. And also make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, because I'll be teaching you how to figure out your dream hourly rate as a photographer and actually make it happen for yourself. And again, in the meantime, don't get distracted by life in the next Instagram post and where you're going or anything you're doing. Just pause, stop right now, get on the OMI waitlist. And I cannot wait to support you on this journey of yours. So it's sarahmonica.com/waitlist. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch you here next week.
Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah no H, Monica with a K photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.